that you're a sex and relationship expert, how did this expertise help you in your own personal growth and relationships?
Yes. It's very similar to what we were saying earlier. Sitting with people who are going through a divorce, through separation, who feel lonely, who are widowed. I think that all of us, and when I say all of us, it is all of us, crave the sense of belonging. So some of us get it from a community. Priests, nuns get it from community, monks. But most of us crave wanting to be seen, wanting to be loved. That's what we see on Love Island as well, no?
Yeah.
Okay, there's the 20,000, which makes a difference, but people want to be loved. People want to be accepted. What interests me, and I think I've done quite a lot of work on myself when it comes to this, not there yet, definitely not, but I think that the best feeling is when you feel accepted for who you truly are. But in order to feel accepted and loved for who you truly are, you need to be transparent. And I think that most people struggle with that. So in my room, I hear a lot of people say, I would never dare tell him this because he'll leave me. If I tell her this, she'll judge me. And I can see the pain and the loneliness in living with someone, sharing your life, your children, your home with someone who doesn't truly know you. Someone you feel you need to hide something from, otherwise they won't be there or they'll judge you for it. And I think that taught me a lot. And I think it made me realize that I'd rather have less people around me and be myself. Not the cliche being yourself.
Yes.
Being truly who I am. Okay? And it doesn't mean that take me or leave me my way or the highway. That's not what I'm talking about. There are still aspects of myself that I need to work on a lot. a lot of work and a lot of things I need to work on.
Yeah.
However, as far as I know, because obviously there are things maybe that I don't know about myself.
The blind spot, right?
Exactly. I try to be as transparent as possible. And if the other person can't, I'm at a stage in my life that if the other person can't take it, I don't think they're the right person for me. So be it colleagues, be it intimate relationships, I am myself, okay? I need to work on how I am honest, because sometimes you can be honest, blunt, without tact.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can be honest with tact, and I think that I need to work on that part. Being honest, but still honest, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It's in a sweeter way.
In a sweeter
way. So that's another problem, because I'm going to cut down the sugars and then be more sweet.
You have to compensate for that.
Yes. But yes. I think that's what I learned from my work, that people want to belong, and most people, and I say most with responsibility, would rather hide an aspect of themselves, a part of themselves, sacrifice a part of themselves in order to be accepted. Which doesn't make sense because you're not being accepted.
Yeah.
You know, there's this fear that if I lose this person, if I tell them the truth, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life.
That's very lonely to think that as well, in a sense. And you're really thinking that you're not on the same level as your partner, and you should be at the same level. You should feel at the same level of comfortability in the sense that you are free to express yourself and to be who you are. So you're already putting yourself down.
Yes.
And I think you're putting yourself in a very difficult situation. So if the other person has abusive tendencies, you would be at a risk of suffering from abuse more.
Yes. Yes.
So it's good to be nice, but if you're too nice and
But nice
And-
is not necessarily what we're talking about here, because it could be
Yeah.
that I am hiding aspects of myself
Yes.
and I'm not nice.
yeah,
But I can be nice, this is what I'm working on, no?
yes,
To be nice and still be
Yes,
transparent.
yes.
To be transparent and be nice, you know.
mm-hmm.
But, and I work with a lot of loneliness. And loneliness, not the solitude being the older man who died alone, the woman whose kids don't visit her, kind of loneliness. Loneliness that I need to fill my time so much with running errands, going to work, developing some kind of side hustle, being on social media, so that I'm not alone. Because if I'm alone, I'm going to feel bad about myself, I'm going to feel miserable. And I'm going to get in contact with parts of me that make me feel really bad. And I'm not accepting those parts of me, so I don't show them to others. That kind of loneliness I'm
Yes,
talking about.
yes.
You know? So I'm talking about people who are socialites surrounded by a lot of people, you know, sometimes being the life and soul of the party, but then on their way home they cry because they feel alone. And this would be people that you would never imagine, you know, would feel this way.
Yeah.
That kind of loneliness. And I think that what I explained now, it's easier to imagine, but to a lesser extent, I think that a lot of people are living like this. You know?
It's it's like we were discussing earlier on. It's about digging deep and see why you're experiencing these thoughts. It's about if again, I'm not the expert in this area, but from a third party point of view, sort of, is I think you'd be in that situation because you've allowed yourself to put so many things under the carpet that now you're overwhelmed with so many emotions that you are not you can't put your finger on one thing, but you don't know even from where to start. So if again the microscopic steps, if you reflect just a little bit every day, it has a huge impact. But if you don't self-reflect for 10 years, you have 10 years of self-reflecting under the carpet that you need to deal with.
Yes.
It can be trauma, it can be little things, it can be small arguments, it can be small frustrations, but they pile up.
Yes.
So I think if you are in that position, it means that you didn't self-reflect or didn't have an outlet for you.
Yet,
Yes,
but you're still in time
yes.
if you start
For sure, yeah.
working on this.
We always have a choice. As you said earlier on, I think we always have a choice.
And sometimes, looking back, dealing with your issues, your life this way, might have served its purpose. But my question is always, is it still serving you now? So being a workaholic and working from night till whatever, all day, might have served its purpose because you were not going home alone to an empty house, or you didn't have to deal with certain emotions or certain people in your life. But now that you're in a relationship, or now that you know your father has cancer, is it still there serving you, being at work all day? Now that you have a newborn, is it still serving you? Because this is the thing with coping strategies, we adopt coping strategies because they helped us at that point in time.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think I will ever tell anyone you shouldn't have never did drugs, you should have never been promiscuous, you should have never drank so much alcohol. No, it served you at that point in time. But the question is, today, now, is it still serving you? Because sometimes we adopt a coping strategy, which worked wonderfully at the time. We're still doing the same coping strategy now because it's the only thing we know. because we're comfortable.
Yeah.
But when we reflect on it and we think about it, no, it's not serving us now. So maybe it's about time that I feel uncomfortable for some time, so I change my coping strategy and I adopt another coping strategy.
Because we change, we grow, we experience
Yes.
different things in our life. So that is why self-reflection and growth is it's a journey, it's not a destination. We have milestones and we have to acknowledge that we have milestones and celebrate the milestones, and we've discussed throughout this podcast. But we're ever changing, so whatever worked, as you said, at a particular point in time, doesn't mean that it will work. So, for example, if you're a teenager and listening to music solved your problems at the time because you could relate to the lyrics and to the music, perhaps today you have to read a book, go for a walk, go for a run, speak to someone. So we have to change and readapt to our current self.